Welcome to BizTips with Jenny Rice, bringing you insights from real entrepreneurs. No fluff, just raw, practical strategies from those who've been in the trenches. Whether you're launching, scaling, or pivoting, this podcast is your backstage pass to lessons, successes, and game-changing tips. Get ready to learn, take action, and level up. Let's dive in with our next guest.
Hi, this is Jenny Rice with BizTips podcast. I'm really excited about our guest today, Jason Gilbert, who's the founder of TV Feeder. So welcome, Jason.
Yeah, Jenny, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to meet with you and just really excited to get my business out there and meet some of the other entrepreneurs.
Absolutely. And you're doing some very exciting things. So tell me a little bit more about your background and what you're doing now.
So my background goes back to probably my college days where I was studying engineering, and then I switched to more of a business degree with a finance. So I ended up graduating with a finance and engineering minor. And while I was in college, I had this idea of creating an app and a website. And so basically, just out of my college apartment, I started learning how to write software, write code for websites. And so my formal training was more in finance, on the business side of like calculating the price of stocks and being able to determine, buy and sell high and buy low and calculate stock analysts. But I really only did that as like an intern. I had a few internships with like a hedge fund, and my passion was always writing software, and that was all self-taught. I took one software class in college, but I never really had any formal computer science degree. So all my software was self-taught, and I just kept plugging away little by little until the point where I eventually was able to maybe work more part-time with some other jobs. And I just kept writing my software, writing my code, and finally now my app is now in patent pending stage, and I've released the first initial product that's live on tvfeeder.com. And we're very soon to getting the app in the Apple App Store, and then we're going to have the apps available for the smart TVs after that. So it's pretty exciting that after all these years of plugging away at my computer, at my desk, and just keep writing that software, and now finally it's available for people to use, and it's pretty exciting. So.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. And the fact that you found your passion, even though you weren't trained in it, and you learned it all yourself. That's quite a commendation to say, I've learned this all by myself, right? So that's great. So tell me more about the process you went through, because you had an idea, you had to learn to code it. So explain a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so I think the idea came about, this is back when like Netflix wasn't really a thing, and nobody really knew what streaming was. And I kind of just realized that I had the ability to make this happen. And then of course YouTube TV has come along now, and streaming has become this big thing. So it's pretty exciting to see just the industry as a whole, how it's grown. Now everybody knows what streaming is, and everybody has smart TVs. And to just think that I was kind of at the beginning of this, and now finally my product is available. And it's exciting to see where it's going to go in the future too, because there's still a lot of people using cable. There's still a lot of people using satellite, and I think streaming is very just only scratch the surface of what it can be. I have dreams of like in the future where there's going to be vehicles will have streaming together, and that'll be part of this autonomous vehicle network that's all connected through video. Like all the cars will have cameras, and some people don't like the word smart city, but really to me, smart cities just means like it'll be much more connected to the internet, and there'll be a lot more devices that need more bandwidth. And that was really the problem with the internet when it began, is with the dial-up system that I grew up with. It didn't have the bandwidth to transfer video. And even like through the pandemic was where Zoom grew very big. So to see that we're talking together on Zoom, and TV feeder will have a video calling feature soon. So I think we're still just at the beginning of the whole industry of video over the internet.
That's interesting
So
that you
it's
sort of
pretty exciting.
apply the technology into day-to-day living from cars to, I'm thinking taxis. You can be in a taxi and be ordering something, things like that, or watching a TV show while you're stuck in traffic or things like that too, right? There's a lot of opportunity there.
Yeah, even on a plane too. When I first released my app, I was flying home from Dallas for actually my first conference that I was able to have my own booth at, and that was a big milestone for me as well. That was the Connected America Summit, and just to be able to be in the entrepreneur area with my own booth and meet the other entrepreneurs and just see my app actually working and having other people come and being able to pull it up on their phone and use it. And then on my way home, be able to actually use it on the plane.
That's
That was
exciting.
really exciting to see that I could actually watch my TV app on the plane. Yeah, that was cool.
That's really great. So it's going to be out on Apple. You can purchase it on Apple phone soon.
Yeah, very soon. Right now, it's just on the website, tvfeeder.com, but the Apple App Store is coming soon. There's a little bit of a hurdle you have to go through to get onto the App Store, so that's in the process right now.
Okay. All
So
right.
we're still at the very early stages, but it's really exciting to see how far I've come, and now it's available and more available soon.
Mm.
So,
So you're going to be celebrating very soon. Another
oh,
trip with your
definitely,
app.
yeah.
Yeah. That's
Yeah,
really
so I have
that's
my
really
next
great.
conference coming up in June. That's the Broadband Summit, and that's in Houston. And there I'll be one of the featured startups. So that's the big thing that I learned while I spent some time in Silicon Valley is you have to have you have to have users. A lot of inventors have an idea and entrepreneurs they have this big idea, but and even though it might take a long time to get there, at least get something out that proves you can do something. And
Right.
that's what I have done so far is create something that actually people can use. And now that's what's starting to get me what they call traction. So in order to get traction, you have to be able to have users, and in order to have users, you have to have like what they call an MVP, a minimum viable product.
Byproduct. Yep. I was going to
So
say that. Yeah.
if you can get something basic, it doesn't have to be like I said, the full featured this advanced smart remote control is what's the patent pending. So that's not available yet. But at least I have the MVP, and that at least gets me traction and gets me users. Because before it was just an idea and it wasn't really provable that I was going to follow through on my idea. But I think what's helped lately is that I've got it out now and I can actually get users. So that's very
Yeah.
important for any entrepreneur.
Yeah. No, really important because you have the vision, but if people aren't going to buy to use it, it's not going to fly. So it's really important to do your proof of concept, your MVP, and get it out there, right? So yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
So tell me, did you do this on your own or did you partner with people, have teams of people support, or is this a solo venture?
Yeah, definitely a solo venture. In fact, I had to burn a lot of bridges even as well because like I said, I started in college and my family always wanted me to pursue like a normal career path, especially with my background with a degree in finance and engineering, and I had a great internship at the hedge fund, with as a stock analyst. It was very difficult for them to understand why I wanted to take this path, and like so just be aware that being an entrepreneur, and I've met a lot of other entrepreneurs and that have heard this, it is a lonely path. It's not for everybody. Like you have to dedicate a lot of time, a lot of resources. You know, you have to take part-time jobs and all that money just goes into your vision of your invention. And so it is very lonely. A lot of people don't understand it, and it's very difficult to get through that. But if you really stick through it, like it'll start to get rewarding and it'll start to pay off eventually. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for is just keep going. I've gotten this far and just never give up. And that's kind of
Yeah,
been my idea.
I think it's really important is to say you
But
got a
also
vision,
it's
right?
very I think we're in a very exciting too is with the new AI. Maybe AI can be your next co-founder because that's really helped me just in the last few years is this new AI that can really help progress, especially in the software world. AI is great at writing software, so you still have to know how to write software on your own, but AI can help you do the debugging process very
Mm,
much quicker. Whereas before there'd be those software bugs, and now AI can just like that
find them.
get those software bugs. So that's really helped. Yeah, that's really helped a lot.
Yeah, that makes good sense. So use the tools that you've got. But you're right, it could be lonely, you know, going there, especially when other people don't see your vision or it's taking too long or naysayers or whatever. But it's great that you stood by what you wanted to do and now it's coming to bear fruit, right? It's coming to fruition, which is really exciting. I can't wait to read you on the front page of Fortune magazine or something like that, right? Won't that be exciting times?
Well, yeah, that would be interesting. I think I'm a little ways away from there, but I appreciate you're saying that because maybe, yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, it's exciting time. So you gave some good tips for other entrepreneurs is it could be lonely, stick with it, don't give up. Any other tips that you could have for other entrepreneurs, especially in your arena where you have an idea that you want to pursue? Whether it's an app, whether it's software, whether it's a product or things like that.
So yeah, I always knew that I was into like my apps related to TV and media and entertainment, and I always knew from a little kid that I was good at that. Like back when we had like VCRs, I was always the guy that could fix my grandparents, electronics. So if
Mm.
their computers broke down, like I was always the guy that could fix the computer, fix the TV. And so I was always good at that. I was always good at like connecting wires and electronics. And I was actually, when I was a little kid, I was actually the first ever champion in Lego robotics. So,
There
so
we
I
go.
always did that. So I always was into robotics and computers, and so I kind of always knew my whole life that I was into that. I think what happened is when I switched to the finance degree away from engineering, that might have been something that got me more of that business acumen, so I could understand the cash flows and kind of the accounting, and that this could actually be a viable business plan. So I think having both that engineering and that like creativity that I had growing up, and then pairing that with the business acumen that I got in college, that maybe that was a good
Yeah.
way that kind of tied it all together.
I find sometimes our choices in life bring us further to where we want to go. Sometimes we're not even aware of them, but they still help us, and feed us and give us insight and things like that to help us be successful.
Yeah, definitely. It's a journey. They always say that it's the startup life is a journey, and it's one step at a time. So you get so far, and yet I'm still at the beginning. That's kind of what's frustrating is I still have this grand vision, and who knows, maybe even my grand vision of this whole like supercomputer telecommunications all running on renewable energy that through the internet. That's kind of like my dream vision. That's still many years away. So um,
Hmm.
it's you just that's what I said. It's just a journey. You just gotta you get that MVP, get that minimum viable product out as soon as you can, and even if it takes a while to do that, and then that's still only the beginning. So
That's great. So you're seeing
you just go
beyond
from
your
there.
you're seeing beyond your initial vision and saying there's going to be more, and then there's more, and then there's more. You're never going to retire, are you?
Well, that's interesting that you say that because that was another thing I want to talk about is just like mental health is we talked about how lonely it is. We talked about um how difficult and how long of a road and a journey that it can be. So um mental health and physical fitness and all those are very important. So um especially in my world, which was software and programming, how many hours and hours I'm spending in a basement behind a computer. There's got to be a balance. And there was times where so many hours behind the computer, there wasn't much of a balance, and it was leading to like you burn out. So you have to take vacations. You have to take you have to get exercise, you have to get physical fitness, and then you actually come back more productive. There's a lot of times where those long, long nights, that's when I would have more software bugs. And then you just have to go back and fix it. So even if you're developing some type of physical product, like, maybe just spend a few hours at a time rather than like 16 hours at a time. Maybe you might introduce a new feature that wasn't necessary.
Right.
So just take a step back, reflect, and then also just focus on physical fitness. And that's why I said it's just a long process. So you just got to take one step at a time and don't let your physical fitness and your mental health go.
Yeah.
So whatever that needs to be,
Pace yourself,
to make sure
right?
that you have, to make sure that you have balance. Yeah.
Absolutely. And you don't want life to
Especially if
pass
you're
you
working
by.
a second job. Yeah.
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 No,
Well,
absolutely.
yeah.
Well, it's been really insightful having you as a guest. I'm really excited to hear how things turn out, Jason. So please keep in touch. Let our listeners know how it's going. Would love to, hear when it's all set up. It's really exciting.
Yeah, it's been great to get connected with your network, and really appreciate meeting all the other entrepreneurs, like I said, and I'll keep you posted. It's exciting times, and this summer there's going to be some new features, and so
Great.
I'm excited to see where TV Feeder goes by this time next year. It's going to be
Yeah,
very
for
great. So.
sure. Exciting times ahead. We'll definitely keep in touch, Jason. So this is Jenny Rice with BizTips
Okay.
Podcast. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Jason, for being a guest tonight.
That's a wrap on this episode of BizTips. For more insights, join us online. We share exclusive tips, resources, and strategies to help you grow and scale your business. Until next time, keep building, innovating, and making an impact.